Welcome to Intermediate Level English Language Arts.
Recognizing the uses of nouns. You look at the page, it's 41 to 50. Yeah, it's a lot. Okay, so recognizing the uses of nouns. So nouns are very important. They're a very important ingredient in creating a sentence. When you want to make a sentence, nouns play a very important role. Okay, and for each noun that is used in a sentence, they all have different uses. Different uses in a sentence. Okay, let's go through some of them. Okay, now these are some of them we already discussed for those of my former students last school year. We already discussed this last school year. I hope you guys remember them. All right, so let's go with the first one. Nouns that are used as subjects. Subjects basically, class, are the ones that are being talked about, and they are also the doers of the action. Okay, so the subjects are basically nouns that are used as either the ones that are being talked about and they are the doer of the action. They're usually found at the beginning of the sentence. Okay, when you say simple subject, this is referring to the specific noun or nouns. If it's a proper noun or a compound noun, usually it's a group of them, okay, that does the action and is being talked about. When you say the complete subject, this is the group of words before the complete verb. Okay, so everything before the complete verb, that's the complete subject. But when you're talking about the specific noun that is the doer of the action or is the one being talked about, then that is going to be the simple subject. Examples. Number one, the happy townspeople decorate their homes with rice wafers. Okay, the complete subject there is the happy townspeople, but the specific one, the simple subject there is the townspeople. Next, two, many farmers hang farm products from the windows of the houses. Okay, again, the complete subject there is the many farmers. They come before the complete verb, which is hang. Okay, and the specific subject, the simple subject, that is just the farmers. Okay. Next, three, the Pahiyas festival is celebrated in Lukban and Sariaya towns. So the complete subject there is the Pahiyas festival. Okay, but the simple subject there is the Pahiyas festival. Now, you might be wondering, in your books, it just says the underlined word there, or the simple subject there is just festival. No, because it is a proper noun. Sorry, it's a proper noun. And Pahiyas is part of the festival or part of the noun. So Pahiyas festival, that is your simple subject. Okay. Now, if you notice number one and number two, these are the doers of the action, and they're also the ones being talked about. In number three, the Pahiyas festival, it's not doing anything, okay, but it's the one being talked about. Therefore, these are all your subjects. Okay, that's the first one. Next, vocatives. Okay. Vocatives, for those of you who were my students last school year, this is a new one. Okay, vocatives basically, these are used in directly addressing a person. These are the nouns that are used to directly name a person or naming the person that is being spoken to. So these are in special kinds of sentences wherein the sentence is directed at someone. Okay, for example, so to find them, you would have to identify commas. You would have to look at commas, all right? So in number one, example number one, Mark, are you joining the procession? The sentence there is directed towards a certain person named Mark. Okay. And so Mark there is the name of the ones being talked about. Therefore, Mark is the vocative. Next, happy feast day, my friend. Okay. So again, it's directed towards a friend. Therefore, the vocative there is friend. You will not include anything else. You will not include the determiners. You will not include the adjectives. Basically, it's just the noun itself. That's a vocative. Next, these decorations, Susan, are called keeping. Okay, again, it's being directed at a certain person, Susan. Now, for you to be able to identify vocatives, look at the commas. Okay, so for example, if it's at the very beginning of the sentence, you have only one comma. Okay, or if it's at the very end of the sentence, you also have only one comma. But if it's in between, somewhere in between the sentence, in the middle of the sentence, then you have two commas. All right? Now, that's for you to identify vocatives. Okay, next, we have appositives. Now, appositives, they are nouns that are used to give additional information. additional information about the noun or pronoun. So usually they come after the noun or the pronoun or before. They're usually just right near the noun or pronoun, okay? And they're also indicated by commas, just like the vocatives. Just like the vocatives. So they look like vocatives, but for appositives, they do different things. They give additional information. Vocatives, they are naming the person that's being talked to, all right? Or spoken to, okay? Example, number 1. Lukban, or Progressive Municipality, is the home of the Pahiyas Festival. Okay, now, you have like 2 subjects there. You have Lukban and we have municipality, which is the subject there. Now, if you would see, the phrase a progressive municipality is inside 2 commas, okay? It is inside 2 commas. Therefore, since it is inside 2 commas, this is the appositive, the added information. And municipality there talks about Lukban, okay? So the subject there in this sentence, number 1, the sentence there, the subject is Lukban, and the appositive, the added information, is municipality. Next, 2. Pahiyas, an annual festival, is attended by many people. Again, you have the phrase an annual festival in between 2 commas. Therefore, this is the appositive. Festival is the appositive, okay? And the subject there is Pahiyas. What about number 3? Let's look at number 3. Sariaya, another town, also celebrates the festival. Okay, now this time you have Sariaya with the comma. Okay, you don't have another comma there, so that means Sariaya there is the appositive. It is the added information. Your subject in number 3 is town. Town. Okay, now how do you create or form an appositive? How do you create an appositive? So to create or form an appositive, right? Usually you have 2 sentences and then you combine them together to make an appositive. So example number 1, Lukban is a progressive municipality. It is home to the Pahiyas Festival. Okay, with stuff like this, right? It is already, you already have the pronoun it. Okay, so you could already change it with the subject. So you could, like, for example, you'd like to use Lukban as a subject, Lukban. And then since Lukban is a progressive municipality, you could put a progressive municipality as the appositive. And then is home to Pahiyas Festival. So that would be their predicate. Or number 2. Number 2, Pahiyas is attended by many people. It is an annual festival. Here, we have a different approach of doing it, right? For example, you'd like to keep the Pahiyas is attended by many people, okay? But you'd like to include the idea of it being an annual festival. So you could include the second sentence as the appositive. So Pahiyas, that is still the subject, an annual festival, that is the appositive, is attended by many people. Or number 3. Number 3, another town also celebrates the festival. It is Sariaya. Okay, you could even include the ideas or the nouns on the next sentence as the appositive. Okay, so for example, you could have that one. You could start with Sariaya, okay, and then comma, followed by another town also celebrates the festival. That's how you create or form or write appositives. Okay, next, subject complement. Okay, the subject complement, for those of you who are my students last school year, these are also called the predicate nouns. These are nouns that completes or renames the subject. And they are followed by, they follow a linking verb. They follow a linking verb. So again, if you find a noun after a linking verb, okay, and it completes or just renames the subject, that is the subject complement. Number 1, example, the farmer turned town mayor. Okay, turn there is not an action verb. Rather, it is a linking verb. How do we know that? If we change turn there into a be verb, is, you would have the same thought. The farmer is town mayor. The farmer turned town mayor. Okay, so mayor there just talks about farmer. It's just the same thing. Number 2, Isidro Labrador became a saint. Okay, so became, again, become, became, these are just linking verbs. So Isidro Labrador is a saint. So Saint just talks about Isidro Labrador. Quezon is a big province. Okay, again, another example, right? Province is just talking about Quezon. It's just renaming Quezon. Okay. Keepings are rice wafers. Wafers again are just keepings. Same thing. Number 5 is a very, very common one I usually use, right? He is a boy. Okay. Boy is the subject complement. It's the predicate noun. He is a boy. Okay. You can even interchange them. Boy is he. Town mayor, the town mayor is the farmer. Okay. A saint is Isidro Labrador. A big province is Quezon. Rice wafers are keepings. That's also one way for you to find out if it's a subject complement or not. Okay? Next, direct objects. Direct objects, guys, these are nouns. Oh, yeah, these are nouns that come after an action verb. Okay? And they are receiving the action. They receive the action. For you to find the direct object, you have to ask the questions verb plus what or verb plus whom. Example number 1. The people hang the colorful wafers in different ways. Okay. I underline the verb hang plus what. That's a verb, right? So verb plus what? Hang what? Wafers. Wafers is a direct object. It receives the action. Number 2. Mangosteen prepared the prizes for the games. Your verb is prepared. Prepared what? Prizes. That's a direct object. The children helped their parents in decorating the streets. Helped what? That's a verb. Helped what? There's none. There's no answer. But helped whom? Their parents. Parents. Therefore, parents is the direct object. 4. The town celebrated the colorful Pahiyas festival. Again, your verb is celebrated. Celebrated what? Pahiyas festival. And that's how you find your direct object. Next, indirect object. Indirect objects, guys, they also receive the action, but they are answering a different question. They answer the question verb plus to whom or to what, or verb plus for whom or for what. And they usually go, or they're not usually, they always go before the direct objects. Before the direct objects. So number 1, Matthew gave the farmers some refreshments. I underlined the verb gave. Gave what? Gave what? What did Matthew give? Gave refreshments. Therefore, refreshments is the direct objects. But Matthew gave refreshments to whom? The farmers. Therefore, farmers there is the indirect object. 2. Herbert showed the visitors the rice wafers. Herbert showed what? Rice wafers. That is the direct object. So what about visitors there? So he showed the rice wafers to whom? The visitors. Visitors there is the indirect object. Okay, so that's how you find the indirect object. Next, objects of the preposition. So objects of the preposition, this was the previous topic for those of you who were my students last school year. Okay, we've discussed this already last quarter, 4th quarter. But let's just have a quick refresher of what they are. Okay, objects of the prepositions, they are the nouns that receive the preposition. They come after a preposition in a prepositional phrase. And what are prepositions? These are words that show or that connect a phrase to a sentence, and they usually show positions such as in, or on, or at, or to, or for, or under, or over. Okay, these are all prepositions. So for example, in what, or on what, at what, to what, for what. Okay, whatever the answer there is, it's going to be the object of the preposition. So example number 1, the fiesta is celebrated in Lukban. You have a preposition there, in. In what? In Lukban. Lukban is the preposition. 2, the visitors stood along the wide streets. Along is your preposition. Along what? Streets. That is your object of the preposition. 3, we stayed under the big acacia tree. Under is your preposition. Under what? The tree. These are how you find your object of the prepositions. A use of nouns as objects of the prepositions. Next, you have object complements. Now, for object complements, guys, this is also new. Now, they work like subject complements, but instead of renaming or completing the subject, they would rename or modify or complete the direct object. Okay. Now, object complements are very unique because certain verbs only create object complements. Okay. So verbs like choose or elects, okay, or consider or made, stuff like that. Those verbs would only create object complements. Now, here's how it looks like. Number one, the people chose Mrs. Texon chairperson. Okay, now your underlined words there are your direct objects because, for example, in number one, your verb is chose. Chose whom? Mrs. Texon. That's your direct object. And Mrs. Texon is chosen, and Mrs. Texon there is a chairperson. So the people chose Mrs. Texon chairperson. Chairperson there is the object complement. Two, they elected Dr. Nick Lim governor. Elected whom? Dr. Nick Lim. That's your direct object. And governor there just renames Dr. Nick Lim. Therefore, that is the object complement. And then we considered Christine Fiesta Queen. Okay. Considered whom? Christine. Okay. And Christine there is a what? A Fiesta Queen. It's just modifying Christine. It's just renaming Christine. Fiesta Queen is Christine. Okay. Therefore, queen there is the object complement. Now, these are the different uses of nouns in sentences. These are all of them, right? I hope you guys remember all of them. Okay.